This is Press Play Northwest Radio. I'm Bruce Poinsett.
And I'm Donovan Smith.
And you're tuned into the official radio show of Press Play Northwest, your destination for deep dives into Northwest hip-hop's most provocative visuals. Join us live on Facebook on the Gentrification is Weird page every month, where we give you music video screenings, facilitated discussions, and exclusive interviews and audience Q&A with local artists.
Also, be on the lookout for updates from Press Play Northwest. You can do that by checking us out on YouTube at Press Play NW. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to everything Press Play Northwest. Also, follow the hashtag Press Play NW. For now, we're going to get into some music. Up next, we've got...
Hey. We got a special announcement, sir. For those who don't know, Donovan is going to be running for the second VP position for the Portland chapter of the NAACP. It's a big move, big candidacy, and we're going to be talking about that later in the show. But yeah, before it gets too off into this whole this music thing we do, but make sure that's happening. We're going to be talking about a little bit more as the show goes on. Now continue.
For sure. Thank you for that. So as I was saying, up next we've got Tomorrow by Vinny Dwayne featuring Iceface. And we'll talk about my candidacy a little bit. Again, you're tuned in to Press Play Northwest Radio. Be back in a second.
Gotta make this work, man. Whatever situation you in, you gotta make this happen, you feel me? Let's go. Back at the start, I'm just trying to get my bread straight. Attached to the arts, I got visions in LA. I'm in the same jeans, same Timbs for a week. I'm deep in St. John's, meth heads never sleep. What's in your area? Is it like mine? Because of racial profiling, I just peek through the blinds when something go down. Cause they try and see us locked up, get out the jam. If it call hot boxed up, I'm sipping on Patron with the lime and the salt. The same this shit got these looking doing time for assaults. It's time for a toss. Flip a coin, let me know what shot I land on. Either shine or you lost. If I pass away this evening, my standing for the hood was that agreement. I leave it up to dreaming, I leave it up to afterlife. My soul affects I'm seeming, and I come back another guy's son. I'm never leaving. What's up? Face, I tell my to keep it moving. I'm dribbling these states, but when they see me shooting, only pull and hit the net, no seconds left. But I live in Chi-Town, second home, nothing less. Never been the type to get ride who they gave a check. Catch me if you can, I'm Leonard, I can make a check. If my movie in behind bars, that's a metaphor. Guards think they got a key, but they don't work for heaven's door. The game need protection, put a condom on your newest verse. I keep my thoughts raw for you, up on the universe. Coming through your headphones, tape decks subwoofer. Take my bars out the pack, see all my nugs looking, no shake. I give you no shake, but I make her legs vibrate, diving in her waves. It's hard to see the currents in the ocean full of shit. I'm just trying to stay afloat, cause hoes will pull you in the wind.
Tomorrow comes, I pray that I'm ready. Wealth, health, and prosperity, a little clarity. Trying to build the same blocks that wanna bury me. Apparently, we the last of a damn breed. Feeling like a ghost, wasn't supposed to see 18 Zach in my dreams. I asked him what's the meaning. He say the objective is the same. Make a living by any means, my nigga in the way. And that's to the grave and the afterlife. Baby George gave me the game when I was 13. My daddy died in prison, that's the worst pain. Doing and everything in my power to make a change. Back to the wall with my chin up. He said if you ever fall, you're gonna get up. No matter what the world throws, never give up. And when you make it to the top, live it up for us.
This is Press Play Northwest. You just heard Tomorrow by Vinny Dwayne featuring Iceface. We want to take a minute to remind you that if you haven't yet signed up for the 2020 census, please do that now. The census determines where vital public resources, i.e. the resources you already pay for with your tax dollars, get distributed, and Black and brown communities are notoriously undercounted. To put things in perspective, every person counted is worth an estimated $3,200. Pledging takes very little time and goes a long way to ensuring your community has what it needs between now and the next census in 2030. You can pledge to take the census by texting Oregon to 33339. Once again, that's Oregon, OREGON, to 33339. And for more information, visit WeCountOregon.com. And remember, the census was recently bumped up from its original deadline of October 31st to September 30th. So make sure you get on that. And now we're going to turn things over to our weekly Northwest Hip Hop Update.
For sure. So Sam LaChild just released the track list for his brand new album, Corduroy. The pre-sales for that started on September 1st, and he's going to have a vinyl album that's going to be with that, which is the first time that he's done something to that effect. And I'm excited to hear what he's got to say right now, especially because I've been bumping the album that he just put out with Raz Simone earlier this year, 5 Good Reasons. I've been bumping that a lot over the weekend. So definitely looking forward to that. Also, Ep just put out some new fire. I've been listening to that actually a lot today. It's called No People. So you can find that on all your favorite streaming services. Be sure to check him out. And then also, Tad Wheeler had a dope block party, if you can believe it. So it was unintentional, of course. So some people blocked off the street in front of his apartment. And I was out there as part of that. Mac Smith was out there speaking along with Regina Rage. Some dope performances from Karma Rivera doing her tacos and tequilas thing. If you've ever seen her do that, it's always fire, never misses. C3 the Guru, and then of course myself. So I haven't performed in forever.
Swiggle.
Swiggle Mandela, shout out to Swiggle. So I haven't performed in a long time. It was dope to be out there as part of that energy and, just taking the Pearl for a little bit. And also as part of that, I got a chance to, unveil that I'll be running for second vice president of the NAACP, as you alluded to earlier. So that was like a very big weight off of my chest as I've been kind of building towards this for a minute. It was funny because that same day as we're doing that, on earlier in the day, the NAACP had this mess of a rally called the March on Portland that just went down like you would expect.
Hey,
Yeah.
Can you talk about that a little bit for the people who don't know what happened?
Yeah.
Can you speak on that?
So, basically, the March on Portland was like a sister event to the March on Washington that was happening. It's like the 57th year anniversary of, when King spoke out there in D.C., gave this famous I Have a Dream speech and whatnot. So this event wasn't like, the organizers didn't ask for this event, but it was a sister event to mirror what's happening here in Portland. But what ended up going down, NAACP partnered with this youth group, Fridays for Freedom, and just going against everything that the youth really stood for. The youth were told that they weren't going to have to deal with politicians speaking at their event. And sure enough, Ted Wheeler shows up and gets a photo op with the president of the NAACP, These young people are very much part of the Write-In Teresa Rayford campaign. So if you know anything about that campaign, you could see why that'd be problematic. And it's also just problematic, you consider what the March on Washington was really about in terms of liberation, and you think about King's message about like demilitarization and capitalism, and you consider how our mayor has shown up in not speaking to police violence when it's happening every night while they're tear gassing people and beating people up. Like they're literally smiling as they're like arresting people out here. All you have to do is watch the live streams. Like this stuff is happening every day. So, him as police commissioner plus mayor, getting this platform, as all eyes are on the city and getting basically saying nothing, about what's really happening with the police, and then cozying up with the president of the NAACP against the youth's wishes is just, it's wild. So anyways, they were supposed to be in partnership for this event, and then also ended up pushing all their favorite older speakers to the front, and then leaving the youth with their, literally leaving the youth once they got done with the speakers they wanted to put out, and leaving them with a small crowd. And people who are offended by how the NAACP has been showing up traditionally, they got up there and said their piece, including like Ms. Black Organ and the new president of the Don't Shoot, Ty Carpenter, just speaking of the transition and leadership that's needed at this time. And it wasn't even planned. It's crazy. So yeah, that was the March for Portland event, but Ted said he had a great time.
Yeah. So it kind of sounds like that's a little bit of a microcosm of some of these larger problems and why you're running, which we're going to talk about after we get into this next song, which is Clout by Raz Simone, which is, let's just say very, very, very topical. So you're tuned into Press Play, Northwest Radio. We'll be back in a bit.
I don't give a who follows me on Twitter. I don't give a. I'm not deleting dog.
They tried to call me out. They forgot a real. Don't need cloud. They forgot I still got stripes, I ain't cashed out. They forgot that they ain't about what I'm about. They tried to call me out. They forgot a real. Don't need cloud. They forgot I still got stripes, I ain't cashed out. They forgot that they ain't about what I'm about. My own family turned on me. I was working, going crazy, losing sleep. Seeing things no one should ever have to see. Being things no one should ever have to be. I do wrong so we can eat. I starve now so we can feast. I stay up so y'all can sleep. You don't get that weak. Every day it's a new problem, a new issue in these streets. So I keep these magazines. I flip through them, I don't read. Sucker being sweet, tryna throw off my energy. The opposition pushing lines, unleashing my energy. My girl's supposed to be my rock, but she acting real rocky. I swear it's me against the world, and they all tryna stop me. That's why I be shaking sometimes randomly, like, oh, get off me. I be killing petty. Cause if they could, they come home.
If you would have been there tonight,
they tried to call me out. They forgot a real. Don't need cloud. They forgot I still got stripes, I ain't cashed out. They forgot that they ain't about what I'm about. They tried to call me out. They forgot a real. Don't need cloud. They forgot I still got stripes, I ain't cashed out. They forgot that they ain't about what I'm about. Sometimes people lying up to themselves that they believe in. Now these vanilla cookie talking like they been seasoned. This is blasphemy. Track I would cast you out like some demons. Y'all don't want smoke like a hotel room, don't want beef like a vegan. This is war, I ain't retreating. Go against, that's high treason. These streets made a cold. My doctor says I'm anemic. When my make them then kill you, we strategic. My young still throw they forks up cause they sick, they believe me. On that PTSD in school they said we wouldn't beat. We was just trying to survive, selling crack with them creatures in the cracks and creases, standing in the trap with our trinkets. So much opposition, I'm always on my defense. Get the off my penis, been trapping since I was a fetus. In the sea with the leeches, where many die from the deepness. They don't die from the bleeding. I hear the cries and the screaming. Young can't even be men because we all out here squeezing. Look, bro, spazzing on everybody, including this girl. Cause he feel like he just a street in a square man's world. So much resentment, you can sense it. It's been in the trenches, and then they have to witness squares doing shows and taking pictures. While we get 86s, show shot up and taken to prison. And no one wants to listen. They having the most amazingest Christmas. If you think diverse, you have the haziest vision. We get tokens, but they with the rest of us. Happy music, happy fluid, get too real, then they mute it. In my city, they make sure the street aren't included. Do you know how hard it is to get yourself out the trap? Do you know how hard it is to book a show when you black? Or even do music and still keep all your realness intact? All this progressive, liberal, Democrat just to act. They'll be the first to say Trump, but just please watch how they act. We got for that though. It's way more than just rap. Facts, yeah. They tried to call me out. They forgot a real don't need cloud. They forgot I still got stripes, I ain't cashed out. They forgot that they ain't about what I'm about. They tried to call me out. They forgot a real don't need cloud. They forgot I still got stripes, I ain't cashed out. They forgot that they ain't about what I'm about.
This is Press Play Northwest Radio. You just heard Clout by Raz Simone. And as we've talked about previously in the show, got a special rebellion report with, candidate for second VP of the Portland chapter of the NAACP, Donovan Smith, who also happens to be the co-host of the show, in studio today. So, we talked a little bit about, what happened with the March on Portland, but, let's just talk about why are you running for this position?
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, like I said, the leadership there is just like super problematic. So that's kind of its own thing where, in the midst of this, I haven't seen them really step into the mass mobilization that's happening around like the defund movement, right? Like the 50 million call. I didn't even see them stand in that very simple call to like make us safer. I haven't seen that, but I've seen like a lot of language like condemning people that are mobilizing or then switching and kind of saying, well, we stand with you when it's convenient. So those things have been really annoying. And I've just seen over the last year plus since I've been engaged with the NAACP and then became a member, just a lot of bullying of people who ask real questions about transparency within the finances of the organization, just a lot of coming down, pushing out of people who try and hold the organization accountable. Those things have been really consistent in the year plus. And so those things are really how I even got on the radar, because the NAACP hasn't been like my go-to organization. I've just preferred to do the work that I do with, my own platform and, the organizations that I choose to work with. But nonetheless, as this moment has happened in the city, they've had like the largest platform in the city when it comes to Black folks. Like everybody says, well, NAACP said, which they don't really realize is not really a function of a collective thought. It's really like one or two people or a handful of people. So anyways, beyond that, like as I figured, it's worth working to kind of change the leadership of the organization and working with some other people who want to change the presidency and the vice presidency and the vice presidency. One thing that I've learned that I already was standing on myself is that like the last year at the NAACP conference, like part of their resolutions was that they were going to be standing for reparations. And so I think that's really, again, when you think about how the organization is right now, it's very old guard, it's very, just moderate language. But I think we should be standing in that and really politically mobilize. Ultimately, reparations are going to have to come through like private, federal, and public bodies. And the locals will only be able to do so much in the name of reparations, but I think we can actually figure those things out as a platform that has a lot of political will in our system, in our current systems right now. So I'm looking forward to like figuring that out with the body. I also just want to bring more young Black people into the fold with the NAACP. Like I said, I already work with who I work with, and it's the people I tend to work with. I'd like to hear more of our messages in the NAACP. So just kind of like getting more people to become members and then kind of reshaping the voice of this organization is a big part of what I want to do. And just also, like in terms of just how large the platform of the NAACP is right now, like PCEF money, the Portland Clean Energy Fund, that's been such a big thing that they've been a face to, again, primarily the president, but it's taxing big businesses to give Black and brown people green jobs. That's the short of it. And so that money is going to be between something like $30 and $60 million a year for quite some time. So really redirecting those resources. But yeah, I mean, in short, it's money and people power, and then changing over the voice of that organization. Because, it's not supposed to be an old guard. It's supposed to be a movement led by us, young people and younger people. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Indeed. So real quickly, if people are interested in learning more about you and your campaign, or if they want to support it, how can they do that?
Yeah, they can check out me and all the other candidates that are part of this slate to change the organization over at riseuppdx.org. You can just go there's a little plus in the corner when you get to the website, click accountability group, and you'll get a chance to look at all our campaign statement, our endorsements, and all that stuff. And then they can become a member of the NAACP. It's $30 for adults and $15 for youth. The unit the branch is unit 1120B. So become a member of 1120B. And you can hit me up at ignorant DMS if you want to, at ignorant_DMS if you want to find more on Instagram.
There you go. So that's our show for tonight. Tune in here every week at 5 and keep your eyes and ears open for all the latest updates from Press Play Northwest. As for tonight, we have one more song for you. This is Machete, Song for Jackson by Archie. I'm Bruce Poinsett.
And I'm Donovan Smith. And thanks for tuning in, and make sure to stay tuned for all the latest updates from Press Play Northwest. Because honestly, where else are you going to go?
This is me, this is really me. Call it like you feel it, baby. Tell me what you see. I am self-aware enough to know I cut deep when I'm stressing and aggressive, and I'm too afraid to think about the long run. I know I'm me, and I know you try to avoid my wrath, so you dry your eyes. It's unclear why you spend your time with someone like me. Maybe you love me, or maybe you just fake it, 'cause I'm reckless in these sheets, and I convince you I'ma make it. but doesn't seem so easy on this road that I've been taking. And I would be a liar if I said I wasn't shaking, but my heart is unshuttered. Hearing branches as I go, but I don't feel no momentum when I'm going this slow. Trying to move faster cause I'm scared you're catching up. I feel you nipping at my ears, I know you're gonna go my blows. See, you don't need me, and she can out-compete me.